Okay, welcome back to Rolling with Story. We're playing the hypotheticals game again today. We'll talk about NPCs and about adding NPCs into a party. Could be for a long time, could be for a short time. This is something I find difficult to manage because you don't want to put too powerful an NPC that they show up all the players. You don't want to make a too weak NPC that they're useless and pointless being there, or they're just going to die turn one. It's quite a hard balancing act to find. Now, in terms of NPCs that spring to mind that you've had in your campaigns, Connor, that have kind of been with us for a little while, at different moments, we've had quite a few points where the Guardians, who are like the White Wizard in your campaigns, have helped us. So Makaros, Shiro, coming along to help us in a certain moment, in a certain boss fight. One thing that I really liked was in first campaign where Makaros was helping us and we were fighting the Demigorgon and Makaros was telekinetically holding up the board. So the whole map was these broken chunks of like tower and he was holding them up and it really felt like he was doing something really significant, even though he actually mechanically wasn't doing anything. If you see what I mean. And that was really quite cool. What gave you the idea for that particular NPC?
It's this basically. So that type of thing in those fights is you have a super powerful NPC. They're like a guide or they're help for the player. You can't have them be part of the fight because they would overshow the players or they would be too much, really. But you still want to show that the character is really powerful and can facilitate things. So that is exactly what that fight was. It was, I can't have Makaros join because partly I don't want to RP and control a level 15 wizard at the same time as doing a boss.
Tricky.
But I do want to showcase that they're really powerful and that they can be an aid to the party. So they are holding up this whole thing, which is a ridiculous thing of power, by giving the players ability to fight. There's a couple of times I've done this with a lot of powerful NPCs, and I feel like it's a really good way of keeping the NPC really powerful, then to create a parameter for your powerful NPC to then fulfill so that they are participating, basically, is what I would say for that. That's the easy thing to do. I think the weaker ones are harder. I think so those ones are really easy, or just have them like Makaros, which is based off a Feist book. He would come and go all the time, so he would only appear, help a little bit, fight that thing, but he's a mysterious wizard, so he would disappear again, like Gandalf, to go do something else, and then would come back when the allotted time and say some more wise things, and then disappear to do more wizardy things. So that's a way. Then you can have a long-running NPC that you don't have to play all the time because they're doing more important things and the party are doing their important things. But this person's doing more important things so they can be removed apart. Sam, have you ever run the NPC in the party all the time type thing? Because I know people do this, and I don't know. Have you done this?
Not all. I don't think all the time. I've had them. It's a come and go with moments in the story.
Okay.
I think the real tone change. Yours was the White Wizard. I had Robo Reg.
Reg. He was the White Wizard.
And he had a mace and stuff like that, and he helped the party out in certain moments. And there was a point where you were facing this like quite significant boss, and you'd sent like a call out to all of your friends, like, "Please, can people help us?" And the only one who showed was Robo Reg, and he was very weak, but he had a couple of moments of like What I'd do is I'd give him just enough to be relevant. So he'd hit once, he'd nat 20 once, do a little bit of damage. Everyone go, "Whoa, Robo Red, yeah!" He'd get backhanded by the boss. He'd be out for like a turn, and go, "Oh!" Or he'd be trying to get up. And then I'd give him a couple health potions. So really all he does is goes around, heals people up a little bit. Everyone loves a healer.
Yes,
so
that's true.
A little bit of healing from an NPC is good going because you're not unbalancing the fight. It's not very hard for you to run. You also don't even have to have potions that you roll. You can just be like, this potion does 15 health. So all you do is you go in your turn. Cool. I move Robo Reg. He gives you some potion. He puts it in your mouth and whispers,
glug, 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 glug.
"Drink it." As he does it. Little things like that.
Yeah.
It is tricky. it is tricky. I think that it has to be a come and go character. I just having them in
Some
the party
people do
all the time.
run them in the party like all the time.
The situation I can understand is if you've got a small party.
Okay,
if you've got 2 players, having a third NPC, that's not that big of a problem. When you've got 5 players and an NPC and you're running all the boss and stuff, that is quite a lot to manage. Yeah. This is a tricky thing with NPCs, and I find myself sometimes when I've got an NPC that is aligned with the party.
Yeah.
It's really hard not to speak with the DM's voice.
That's so true.
This is a terrible mistake.
Yes, yeah.
It's quite hard to do that.
Yeah.
So sometimes you have to just be like, they're actually quite a limited character. They don't really understand it all. They're kind of like, they're along for the ride a lot of the time.
Yeah. One of the things I just wrote down when you were speaking was that like RP element, which is quite good with NPCs. Yeah. So that I can see one of the benefits of running someone all the time. And I have done this in some points where there's always one character kind of tagging along for the moment, just so they can help, but they're going off on their own quest, isn't it? Like they're going off on their quest to do something. It gives the DM like a way to RP with the players, so it gives them like an in. So because if you're not there at all, then you have to just let the players RP, and you can't give them anything. Yeah, but the player, even if you make them limited, to that much, they can still like be a part of the conversation. Well, I'm just a simple farmer, but have you thought of this? They might be like, ridiculous, that's stupid. And I see what you mean by like give stuff too much away, but you just have to do what you would do for a character. And be like, would this character know that? No, not at all. This character's a farmer, probably wouldn't give the best battle advice. No. Would they give it anyway? Probably. So they're going to do that, but people are probably going to dismiss it. So.
You know, that's speaking of farmers, it's immediately brought me to actually the example I didn't even think of, which was that you guys hired 10 fawns who just became your warrior troop, who were really funny because I just gave them all West Country accents. I named 3 of them, and then there were the rest of them.
Yes,
and they just do gimmicky little things, but then they'd also have little bits of character development where they went from being farmhands to being warriors, and you were kind of training them, paying them measly sum of 1 silver a day or something ridiculous, and you guys actually had like millions and millions of gold. Terrible.
It was terrible.
It was funny, and it meant also in the boss fights that I could hurt you without having to hit you, because I could just kill one of the fawns off, and everyone goes, no, the fawns! The fawns are down to 8 guys. There were 10 at the beginning. You've lost 2, and then it would like creep down, and then one of them would die, like one who, for some ridiculous reason, I named Big Sack Sally. I don't know why I decided, but she was the best pilot among them. It was this
She was the ringleader at the end.
She was the ringleader in the end. There's Flubert as well, and Tiny Tim.
Tiny Tim's the only one that lived at the end.
Tiny Tim survived. Yeah, Tiny Tim made it.
Flubert died, and then Big Sack Sally took over. I remember this. It was a tragic day.
It really was a tragic.
But it's good you brought those up, because you did that really well. Like it was like they were background. A lot of the time, they were just the fawns. They were there, and sometimes one of us would be like, "Oh, I'm going to go train the fawns," and then there would be like a training thing, but we wouldn't RP. It would just be happening. But there were times where we were like, "We need someone to fly the ship," while we jump off the ship and like go like hell dive onto another ship, and we'd be like, "Flubert, take the reins," and then we would have like a weird bit of RP with Flubert. Or like there would be a time where one character was really sad, and Flubert would be there. They'd talk to Flubert and have this weird deep RP with Flubert. So like you did that really well, where they were background, but they were still there. So we knew they were there. We could interact with them, and maybe that's the way to do it. You have them around, and you just wait for the players to go. Actually, I need this, or surprising them. A lot of the time we'd like sit in the cockpit because we need to be alone, and Flubert would just be there driving, and then it would be like a weird moment. We'd be like, "You right there, boss?" And we'd be like, "You know what, Flubert? No, I'm not all right." And then it would be like this weird, like, and they'd be like, "Oh, that's terrible there, boss. Oh,
there
was also some advice."
I think one thing that made that work was actually the first item I gave in the entire campaign, which was the bag of holding with a safe room in it.
Oh yeah, the safe room
because you guys could quite literally put the fawns away when you didn't want to play with them. They'd hide in the safe room and they'd train, or they'd go and eat, you had a ship, so they'd just be in the ship cleaning stuff, and like they were basically background characters until you wanted them. And then sometimes they'd join you for boss fights, and they'd come along like in a big phalanx. And it was one really cool bit was I managed to put we did a big boss fight, and you went to like the realm of light you went to the realm of light to claim this like light crown of like the king of the gods who'd been killed, and basically the disease demon that had killed him was still in there, the blight, the god blight he was called, and you were fighting him, and he was this giant. He basically was the Oogie Boogie Man from Nightmare Before Christmas. He was just that. He was him.
I
big
see
plague
that.
demon.
I see that.
Yeah, sort of like Great Unclean One from Warhammer vibe.
Nice.
Very, very fun. I'm a Nurgle player, so I loved that. And you were fighting him, but he had loads of minions. But I didn't make the minions fight any of you. The minions and the fawns just had literally like a fight, and I'd roll a dice for each side and just see how they were doing. And it meant that what they were was scenery.
Yeah,
and
that's
it meant
so true.
It was really
You're
epic
right.
because then there was a point where one of the fawns died, and you guys were genuinely going, "Well, we have to kill the boss, but like, I don't want to leave them." So somebody like did a little like a cantrip just to help them out to kill a couple of the plague zombies, which swayed the fight, and it meant, I gave you a toy, and then I started to break bits of the toy, and then you go, no, please, and then you start trying to fix it. It was it was good. The fawns were great. I'm really
they were really good. They started as like a funny like joke thing, but they actually became
goofy thing. Yeah,
which I think happens a lot.
Yeah,
that happens a lot, right? In D&D, you pick up a funny NPC and they become like the intrinsic loved thing.
Yeah,
like Gobbo the Goblin, like that's a classic thing you see in memes. People just
Boblin the Goblin or whatever, like all those.
And one thing I wrote down here was like give those NPCs something that they can kind of participate in.
Yeah.
So my example that I wrote down was Will Green, who was literally he was just a traveling merchant.
He was literally a merchant.
What he facilitated was that players could sell their stuff to him. So he served a role. And I was just thinking about the fawns, and I was like, you could build it almost like, say it's a ship or it's a caravan. You could have this caravan that follows your people around that all have a role to facilitate the team, and then you can give an NPC, instead of them being a great warrior or something, they can have they're the merchant.
Some
you can sell
utility,
I've done this a bit with Mech Campaign.
I was going to say you've done
every single NPC has a role within the ship, and you can go to that different person to have that different experience. There's a diplomat, there's a weaponsmith, there's a scientist, and you can interact in that way, and that helps me a little bit go, okay, what are the motives of my NPC? Because I forget a lot of the time. Okay, well, they're just a scientist. Cool, that's what they're doing. So
sick.
That's a cool way to run them. I never had NPCs overshadow a player. I never had them too big. I've had them really powerful, like Azkai or Macross, we were talking at the beginning, but you do those things in fights where they know this person's really powerful, but in a fight, they do this other thing to support them that's really important. Maybe there's like a hurricane and they have to hold the hurricane while the people fight the boss. Something like that.
Yeah, you did those really well, because we end up, in the end of Campaign 3, literally fighting with actual gods. Like, the gods were walking with us through the and stuff. We can bleep that one out. and stuff. And what they do is they'd have a moment where the god would suddenly intervene, and they'd be fighting this massive demon that came down that was like, we couldn't even fight that, but we were fighting the lesser demons. And so it was a backdrop. It was just a scenery of what was going on with us, but it felt like, oh my god, the gods are here, they're killing this guy. And like that was really cool. That was really cool. You one that we had was what was she called? The Death Knight, Kelquis.
Oh, Kelquis.
When she was cool, because we actually made a deal for her to join us in a boss fight. So that was really cool, because it was a one-off thing. Yeah. We'd made a deal, and we knew she was strong and powerful, so we wanted her for that particular thing. She came for that particular thing. And the way you ran her was quite simple. She had really high to hit, and she did loads of damage. So literally she'd go smack with her axe, sink 70 damage into the boss. Yeah. Make another attack, 70 damage into the boss.
Yeah, I no dice roll. No dice roll, just flat damage.
Bam, easy. Just so easy. I also, just on a side note, I highly recommend flat damage for games. I started doing it about halfway through this campaign, and like the latest campaign I did, and it was a game changer for me. It literally saves so much time and faff. Yeah. So much better.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. Sometimes I would add like a little roll for there to be. Sometimes some bosses I want a bit of like change. So
Yeah.
I would do like 3 different sums, and then I'd roll like a d6, and then
And
you
you
just
pick one
like
of them.
pick.
That's a great way of doing it.
So you can do
actually,
it.
like a
So there
randomised
is
flat.
some
That's
type
sick.
of like
Okay.
stuff that
I never
you
thought
might
of
not
that.
just kill the person straight away, because if someone's got 70 hit points and they know it's always 70, they know they're going to die. So adding some type of randomness to it's
That's
good.
a good idea.
But you're right, rolling, especially when we were rolling that many dice every single attack, it was just so much time, and it just cut off so much time. NPCs, very cool.
NPCs.
I enjoyed
Excellent.
that.
Keep us posted, people. Let us know, what NPCs have you played in your campaigns and run for a long time? Is there a way you've managed some of the difficulties we've mentioned here?
There's going to be some excellent ones, I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm
my God,
sure.
there's going to be some
Come on,
good
guys.
ones.
I'm sure you've had some amazing ones. Hit us up.
Bobbling the Goblin,
Yeah,
and all
please.
those guys. Hit us up. Hit us up. We love it. We love to hear that. Like, comment, subscribe, and as always,
please.
keep on rolling.
Keep on rolling.